everyone. This is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. Once again, here to talk about shit it's the fan, or what's causing it. What is leading us down that road? Why it looks like we're going to have to face it one way or another. I think one of the keys to making good decisions about what you need to do and the amount or pace you need to go at is to understand the nature of the problem we have. So we've discussed economic collapse, which is our economy. That means businesses, the people, how we spend money, etc. But there's also financial collapse. That is the money side, how it works. So I drew up a quick schematic to take a look at it, see what you guys think. You can share your opinions, talk amongst yourselves. I'll see if I can't get on here and dig into the comments a little bit too. But let's take a quick peek at how the system works, why I think it's collapsing, why many other people think it's collapsing, and why it can't stay afloat. What is going on? Why are the 1% getting richer? Why are the rest of us not getting richer? The best we can do is hope to tread water and break even. So let's take a look at why. All right. Why financial collapse is here. All right, let's just start with the Federal Reserve. And I'm going to give them a beautiful little bird there. Don't know if you can see that. There we go, nice little chicken. Okay, let's just talk about the Federal Reserve and kind of how it works for us. What does it do for us? Well, it prints money or issues notes, in the form of dollars, and it loans them at about 1% to your bank. Your bank then turns around and can loan you money. Here's you in the program at 4%. So you go about making money with your job. That is, you're being productive. You're actually creating something. And you, in order to get money from the bank, will pay 4%. They pay 1%, you pay 4%. Right? Maybe you've got a credit card, it's 6, 7, 8, 10, 12%. Okay? We're talking 12, 15, some people who have bad credit pay 20% back to their bank, right, through credit cards. They get the money for one, and they make a shit pile of money on you. All right, that's what your bank does. So then here's you. Well, fuck, let's just look at you for a while. You pay about 30% of your income to the IRS through one way or another, one fashion or another. You pay that much. And here's another little bird. They seem to like those birds, don't they? Squawk, squawk. All right. So the IRS takes that money that they've collected from you, and I guess they give it to the Treasury, supposedly. And the Treasury turns around with your tax dollars, follows all the way back up here, takes your tax dollars, and gives it to the Federal Reserve to pay the Federal Reserve for loaning you your own money. So the Federal Reserve starts charging money and then takes in a bunch of money, and they really haven't done anything other than administer the zeros and ones on their computer screens. The Federal Reserve doesn't make money. It doesn't make gold. It makes electronic notations. And it makes about 1% on every dollar it loans out. Isn't that incredible? I would love for the $2 trillion budget to pay me 1% just for sitting on my chair, pushing some buttons. All right, so let's go to how else you as in you America, you American people, make this system work. There's about 3 to 6% inflation every year. Right here, inflation. Right? The dollar is devalued every year because of this massive scheme of taking money from one person and giving it to another and charging them interest. And then taking money back and then charging a penalty, charging a tax, charging a fee. They're constantly taking more money out of us than we're putting in. So there's less money in the system. Inflation. Right? There's fewer dollars. So they print a lot more dollars, loan them out, and the game starts again. Always, though, inflation. So let's just ignore the inflation, ignore your taxes, ignore you paying your loans back to the bank. Let's look at what happens to your money on deposit in the bank. You're going to get anywhere from 0 to 1% interest on your deposits. That is the money you have in your bank. That's funny. They give you money to use and they charge you 4, 8, 12, 20%. You give them your money and you get shit. Now they go, wow, we're the bank and we pay you this based on how much we loan. If we have to get charged this, we can't pay you back more than what we get charged. That's just not fair to the banks, is it? Right? But they say, well, if you want to borrow money from us, you have to pay 4% for a mortgage, 8% for a credit card, 12% for a personal loan, and if your credit sucks, you're going to pay 20%. And we go, why is that, bank? And they say, well, you're a bad credit risk. Back in 2008, there was this episode with banks that are too big to fail. We couldn't let them fail. They were a bad fucking credit risk. They lost trillions of dollars. With a T. Talk about your bad credit risk, but we've got to pay them 4% and upwards, and they pay us jack shit. All right, let's pretend like they're not doing that to us. You're losing money here. You're losing money there. You're losing money to inflation. Fuck deposits. You now try and go to some place where your money can make money for you. So you send your money to Wall Street, and you're told you're going to make 5 to 10%. 5 to 10%. That's funny. The bank takes money at 1%. It also invests in mutual funds, bonds on Wall Street. It wants to make 5 and 10%. And all that money gets sucked back through and paid back to the Federal Reserve. They make money. The Federal Reserve does. Why? Because the Federal Reserve puts money into Wall Street, into the bond market. How do you think quantitative easing gets into our economic engine, our businesses? It goes through Wall Street and funds corporations. And they want to get paid back their 10%. Now it's funny, the Federal Reserve makes 10%, the banks make their money from 4 up to 20% and 10% on Wall Street, but everyone I know really is lucky to get that 5 or 10%. And then it always seems to be that there's a stock market correction. And the only ones who can't get out of the system, the bank and the Federal Reserve, they don't seem to have their money locked in there. But you with your little blue arrow trying to get to Wall Street, you always seem to get stuck holding the bag. Why? Because you have a job. You're over there making money, minding your own business, trusting the IRS to do their job, the Treasury Department to do their job, your bank and the feds to do their job, Wall Street to do their job. You're trusting everyone else to do their job. And everywhere you go, you pay the bill. You foot the bill. When things collapse, bubbles pop, markets correct themselves, everything becomes balanced again, but your balance sheet is the one that seems to be the lowest, right? Your deposits seem to disappear. That's what's happened in Cyprus and Greece. That's what's going on in a lot of countries, Italy and France. They're talking about here. They've got bail-ins as well as bailouts. Bailout was when the banks, who are a bad credit risk, even though they get to borrow money at 1%, the banks did a bailout via the government. The government bailed them out. Who footed that bill? That's right, you. This thing called the bail-in that has now been authorized. It's legal to happen in case the need arises. And that is where they go directly into your deposits. That is your savings account, your checking account. And they can, if needed, withdraw your money in exchange for stock certificates in the bank that is such a poor credit risk and so terrible at doing a job that it's fucking broke. But they're going to give you stock in their company in exchange for your money. Your money. But that doesn't sound really good. You know what they really need to do, and they've had this set up as well. They've got something called devaluing the money. That is, they have a bank holiday. Your dollar, when you went to sleep on Friday, for instance, is worth 100 pennies. When you wake up Monday, it may be worth 75 or 60, maybe only 55 pennies. That's called devaluation, but they've got a new fancy term for it. It's called a haircut. Haircut. As if your money is growing out of your head like hair. As if it's free. As if you don't have to put any effort into it. Oh, we're just going to give you a little trim. Just going to trim, do a little haircut, a little devaluation. That's called pissing down my back and tell me it's raining. Fuck you guys. At the Fed, at the bank, at the Treasury. Every last one of you cocksuckers. A haircut? Bailouts, bail-ins, haircuts. Here's another great one. They shut the banks down until further notice, and they call it a banking holiday. That's not my idea of a holy day. It's more like my idea of a hellish day. I can't get to my funds on deposit that I'm making no money on, and now you're going to give it a haircut? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Everywhere we go, it is you, part of the system. You are held the most accountable. You pay the bill. And every one of these organizations that we have to work with, from the local to the state to the federal to the international, we're paying a fee all along the way. Taxes. They call them fees, right? Because it doesn't sound as bad as a tax. They invent new terms. It's not even sophistry. It is complete fabrication of terms, terminology, in order to take your money and present it to you in a fashion that sounds digestible, that sounds agreeable to your personal constitution. Who doesn't mind a haircut? Next thing they're going to call it, when they come and steal your money, they're going to call it a blowjob. You're going to go to work, and everyone's going to say, what happened to you this weekend? Oh, I got a blowjob. Everyone's going to go, oh, very nice. You got a blowjob, you lucky guy. And you're like, well, you know, it's not the kind of blowjob that I'm used to getting. Losing half your money and calling it a blowjob doesn't make it good. Calling it a haircut, a bailout, a bail-in, it's all us. It's all us paying for it. Right? Here's where taxes usually goes. Oh, let's call it a bailout. Just take more taxes and give it back to the Treasury, who gives it to the Federal Reserve, who created this problem in the first place. It is a complete and total sham, and that is why the financial collapse is finally upon us. The system is bankrupt, and the people running the system are so immoral, so corrupt, that they cannot help themselves. They race to work every day to steal money from you. Gleefully, whether it's on Wall Street or through the taxation system, they line up wringing their hands in a thirst to get to your blood because they're parasitical. No one in the IRS produces anything. No one in the Fed produces anything. They don't produce gold or silver. They don't produce hamburgers or automobiles. They produce digits on a board. Electronic digits that they can stare at. And then they run around and they exchange these digits for pieces of paper, and then they charge you massive amounts of interest, tax you on it, let you play with it for a while, put it back in their bank where they're going to charge you even more. I mean, are you aware that we're looking at negative interest rates? Now, they just raised the rate, the prime rate, I believe 0.25%. We're going to see what that does to the economy over the next week or so. Next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. We're flirting with negative interest. Not only are you going to pay the penalty of the inflation rate, you're looking at a direct loss of revenue through negative interest. Why am I going to put my money in a bank and get zero interest or less? pay them to hold my money while inflation sucks the rest out, while I pay a huge, enormous, punitive tax rate. And anything left over, after I pay back my loans at exorbitant rates, I try and put in Wall Street, where the inside traders go back and forth, allowing the Dow to go up a little bit and then taking their profits, that is selling. They let it go up, everybody pumps money into Wall Street, and then they take their profits and suck it right back out. They let it go up for a month. Hey, it's up 1,000 points. Everyone should be happy. Everyone keeps sending money every month. Then there'll be a market correction. The value doesn't go down. Someone's pulling the plug on the drain and letting the money go to their bank account. The wealth doesn't disappear that you pay in there. It doesn't just get devalued. It gets taken. It gets stolen. Wall Street is just one more place where your money gets stolen. Perhaps I'll do some more number crunching later and use the old whiteboard to show you how Wall Street, you're not really making anything when you look at it long term. You can see areas, and it's like gambling. Oh, let's use the gambling analogy. People that gamble, they think they're winners. They go to the casino. They'll put $1,000 in the machine, and they'll bring home 10,000, and they'll feel like winners. But they don't really put 10,000 or 1,000 in. They'll put in 10,000, and then they'll bring home 1,000. They'll put in 20 here and 20 here and 20 here and 20 there, and they'll look at that as a loss. What they don't realize is they're paying into this loss above and beyond any hope of ever getting a jackpot out of those machines. It is a huge losing battle. But people feel like winners because they've won a jackpot. People that play Wall Street, they feel like winners. And yeah, you can tell me, oh yeah, I cashed out and bought a car. How much have you put in? How much money have you put in Wall Street? And how has that been compared to the cost of living increase? The inflation rate. It's not the big payoff that everyone thinks it is. It's much like gambling. It's not, it's just not there. The real money's being made by the brokers. The real money's being made by the bankers. You're lucky if you get out ahead. The next correction we see, you're going to find out just what your money's worth and what it's bought when you sent it to Wall Street. All right, I don't want to make fun of anybody because it's actually theft, in my opinion. And it is a big gamble. And if you can put your money in there and get 5, 10, 15, 20% out, and pull it out and keep it out and not send it to the bank and pay penalties and inflation and interest just to keep your money there, then you've won. It's one of the reasons I like physical metals, like lead, copper, silver, gold, food. It's real, it's mine, and it belongs to me, and nobody can tax it. There's no percentage interest rate on preps. All right, enough of this stuff. You guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. Click that button down there, subscribe. Click that button down there, like. Click the other one, share. Share this video with friends, family, loved ones. Help them to understand the situation they're in. Because the real threat is shit hitting the fan. As this system comes down, as this train wreck comes to a grinding halt, as the economy loses momentum, as the financial system is exposed for its failures, we're going to see more and more hardships develop. It's going to take a miracle to keep this thing from crashing. And the best they can do, I think, is to postpone it. Postpone the crash. All right, this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel, saying, Semper Fi, Godspeed, and chance favors the prepared mind is yours.